Today's show brought to you live from Lounge Media Group Studios. It's Pedro and the Freight Hound with the Logistics Lounge. The views and opinions expressed on this show by its guests are not necessarily those of Lounge Media Group or the show host. So if you sue someone, make sure it's the party responsible for hurting your feelings. Also, grow up, be an adult, and understand not everyone thinks like you. And that's okay.
Comment.
What's up? You're on mute. Welcome to the lounge, everybody. Rob's having some technical difficulties here today, so I guess I will kick things off. Thank you all for tuning in. We have a hell of a show for you today. Pedro, how's your day been?
What about what?
Okay, put your microphone closer to your face. We've dealt with this before. No? Okay. Well, I guess we can't find out how Rob's day is going, but my day is going swimmingly. I got a new PlayStation 4 from my buddy, so I've been playing some Red Dead Redemption. Got some new customers, Rob. I can't wait to tell you about them if you can hear me or
I'm
burst.
trying. I'm just wait.
Okay, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. You're good.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, well, see, I can't hear myself. That's so weird. I wonder what's
Oh,
going on.
well, that's probably a blessing.
Where's my little sound at right here? Hold on.
I don't know, man. Self-inflicted wounds right there.
I know that's right. How you doing, bro?
I've been doing great, man. It's been an awesome week. Still pretty chilly, but we're surviving. I got that Red Dead Redemption going, like I said, so kicking it out in the Wild West. But yeah, dude, everything's going good with the freight. Think I got a new customer coming on next week. Finally getting some outbound Florida freight, thank God. So no complaints on my end, bro. How about yourself?
I'm all right, bro. I'm good, man. To tell you the truth, great day. Got a referral from a seafood customer, man. The people that deal with their feed, because they own a live farm as well. So, yeah, man, hoping to do some business with that person. A little three time a week load coming out of Texas. So, yeah, man.
Nice.
Been a good day. Went to the gym, man, knocked out a couple miles on the treadmill and did some some weights and went shopping for quick dinner. And so yeah, it's been a pretty freaking good day, man. I am so aggravated why I cannot hear myself. It is driving me bonkers. You have no idea. Like,
Yeah, that's opposite, dude. I hate being able to hear myself talk. Kind of messes with my flow.
Well,
but touching on that customer, dude, my new customer that I'm going to be bringing on was also a referral. So preaching that till the day I die, man. Customers get you customers, and they can get you customers, and it's awesome.
I agree,
overthink it, bro.
It's again, man. It's weird, I have to make sure this volume thing's done, man. If I have this volume set right, bro, I'll be sound like I'm absolutely screaming in everyone's ears and stuff. So try to make sure that I hear myself. I don't know. Maybe it's my headphones. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Who knows? Who knows what it could be? But
all right.
Yeah.
What's going on in the news today?
I know. I got to get to it. I'm sorry. This is throwing me so fucking off. You have no idea how off this is. All right. News brought to you by ar.pro/truckingnewshub.com. Go there and get your industry news fed to you consistently all day in one place. All right, so update to a story that we touched on earlier this year. May seem boring to a lot of people, but I think it's really important. I actually did not know about this myself until my wife sent me a TikTok. Fortunate enough, I went ahead and did it. So let's get down to it here. After nearly a year of back and forth amid legal challenges, a U.S. district court in Texas has lifted an injunction that will now allow the U.S. Department of Treasury's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, or FinCEN, to enforce the Corporate Transparency Act, which they're calling the CTA. For those not familiar, the new BOI program was created as a result of the Corporate Transparency Act legislation that was passed in Congress in 2021 as part of that year's defense reauthorization package. It is aimed at the problem of money laundering coming from abroad and here at home that people use through shell companies that finance illicit activities. On January 7th of this year, a U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Texas issued an order staying FinCEN's regulations implementing the BOI reporting requirements. Then, on February 5th, the U.S. Department of Justice, on behalf of the Treasury, filed a notice of appeal of the district court's order and in parallel requested a stay of the order during that appeal. So February 18th, or earlier this week, the court agreed to stay its January 7th order until the appeal is completed. As a result of this, the court orders that BOI reporting is now mandatory again under the CTA, which is the Corporate Transparency Act. So all existing LLCs and other small businesses are required to register with their secretaries of state and report their BOI to FinCEN, identifying all the owners and a little bit more information that they asked for by March 25th or March 21st of 2025. This thing, there's a lot of back and forth on this, and I just want to give my little part to this real quick, because the reason that this people had filed an appeal to this is because they said it asked for information that the government doesn't need to know about your business and blah 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 blah. Let me tell you something, people. There is nothing that these folks ask you for that I can't go on Google right now and find out about your business anyway. It is a little short PDF form. You download it, fill it out. It takes a few minutes. You sign it. If you have a partner like Hunter and I, we both had to sign it, and you submit it. That's it. All it is saying is, I am not doing anything illicit. Here is how I operate my business. Here's who I bank with, blah, blah, blah. And they don't ask for your account numbers or any of that mess. And that's it. You know, again, it's just a thing saying, hey, we're above board and we're not committing any crimes. We're not part of any money laundering. So not a big deal. But I will tell you what is a big deal is the $500 a day fine that you're going to get if you don't submit this thing and they catch you. And they're being really serious about this stuff. So you have till March 21st. As always, we'll post this article on our channels. Within the article are the two links that you need. One that explains what the BOI is, and the other that allows you to download the PDF and then also allows you to re-upload it to be submitted. So please go do that again. It is for everybody, LLC and other small businesses. There is criteria. So if you're not sure, just go check, cover your butts, make sure you either do or you don't have to do it, and just be done with it and move on with your life. So there you go. Like I said, boring stuff, but really important. It is important because I did not know about this. I was never told about this. Again, my wife just so happened to see a TikTok. And so I assume many other people don't know about this, because when you open up your LLC, they're not telling you, hey, you need to do this. When you go open up a business bank account, they're not saying, hey, you need to do this. Like, this is another one of those things the government comes up with and was like, let's not tell anybody they have to do this, but everybody's got to do it. So there you go. Wanted to highlight that, bring that to everyone's attention. So see, I'll go get it done. Like I said, real easy process. Anything on that, Hunter, my good friend?
Nah, man, I think you laid it out how it needed to be laid out.
Yeah.
So
no,
get it done.
Awesome sauce. Cool. All right. Ready to bring this gentleman on here?
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right. Glynn LoPresti with Takt, everybody.
That's why they call me bad company, and I can deny.
I love that song, dude. That's the first album I ever bought.
That's a good. I don't know. I didn't get to pick my my play-in music, but I'm okay with that.
I
Fantastic.
could have swore I could. That was in your list, man. Yeah, that was one of the examples you gave.
I had yeah, definitely Bad Company was in there. Rock and Roll Fantasy. I forget. Y'all, that was a great question. What's your Spotify got in it? So, listen, I appreciate it. It's great, gentlemen. I am happy that this is finally happening. We've had a chance to spend some time together. Hunter and I started over a similar, like it was a late night networking event where people just basically bring alcohol and just shoot the shit about warehousing and transportation, and that's how we got started. So now this is where we are.
Yeah, it's good to have you here, man. Good to have you here.
It's been a week and it's been a day. If you asked me 2 hours ago, I would have been not with this. Like, I'm in the office right now. I was actually working from home today, and I would have had a much more exciting background, et cetera. And then the fine people at Verizon decided to have a huge network outage that affected not just Wi-Fi, but also cellular. So even doing this is on a hotspot wasn't even a possibility. I made the call, like, I don't know, an hour ago. I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to the office. So, but that's all right. The office is stocked. We're good to go.
There you go. Yeah, I had no idea until you told me, man, because my emails have been messing up all day long, and then like finally clicked with me because I was running off my hotspot there for a minute, and then I switched over to like my little cheap Wi-Fi, and everything pulled up. Didn't miss too many emails, but
I hope Verizon's not one of your sponsors because I'm not a fan today.
No.
We're
That'd be
working
crazy.
on it. Yeah, we're working.
You're working on it. All right.
Can you hear me now? No.
That's the way I feel right now. Can you hear me now? No, I cannot hear myself.
Yeah. Let me know how you. I'm happy to introduce myself. You let me know.
Yeah, man. Well, guess we'll start off like anybody else. Who is Glynn LoPresti, and how did you get to where you are today with Takt?
All right. Good. That's great. I'm gonna let's start off by just setting the expectation here. I am not from supply chain or transportation. The first time I set foot in a distribution center was in 2021. The story of how we got started. My co-founders and I got a call from a friend of mine that runs a third-party logistics company. We go back all the way years ago, and he went off and started 3PL. I went off and my team and I, we built products and technology companies. We got a call in 2021 where they said, "Hey, we're really trying to build some software that helps us build our company, take better care of the people that we've got working for us, help us keep track of what's going on, and maybe drive some improved margins. But we're running into some roadblocks." And he said, "Hey, would you help out?" So got that call, grabbed Noah and Alex, my co-founders, who I've worked with for many years. And we headed out to Martinsburg, West Virginia, which is only about 90 minutes west of where we are. We're in Virginia, just outside on the west side of DC. Headed out to Martinsburg, West Virginia, set foot in a giant distribution center, and sort of, I think it was apparent to us pretty immediately that technology was a little bit behind in this industry, and that ultimately the needs and the challenges my buddy were talking about were really just the tip of the iceberg, that there was a lot more to it. And so the three of us came out of there after about a week of spending time and said, "Hey, is this something that we can fix? Is this something where technology can really bring this industry, these operations forward, and at the same time take better care of the people that are out there on the front line?" And that's really how we got started. I mean, going back a little further, the way I got into building companies, completely by accident. Many years ago, I was a contractor for the intelligence community here in DC. We had built a little website for, with a couple of students that were still in school. I was out of school, obviously, at the time, and we ended up getting the opportunity to pitch Mark Zuckerberg, and actually selected for the first Facebook fund way back in the day. And so that was my introduction to the start. Now, when I got out of school, it was very different. It was, if you could get a job, my first job was with Bell Atlantic. I'm dating myself, but for those of you who don't know, Bell Atlantic is now effectively Verizon, but before that, it was the Bell companies. And so back in the day, it was like, if you can get a job with somebody that'll, give you a pension, you can work there for 30 years, like that's the dream. It's completely different now, but this introduction to the startup world started. I built that first company, and this is our third company. In fact, one of my co-founders here at Takt was actually an intern when he was in school at the first one. It's a bit of a bug. Once you start building companies, it has its highs, it has its lows. Certainly a lot of oscillations. Pretty sure you're going to be a billionaire. Might not be able to make payroll. Pretty sure you're going to be a billionaire, but once you get going, it's hard to quit.
How many companies would you say you've started up?
This is my third one. First one.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no. The first one was a website that basically helped college kids cheat their way through school. It was all your old exams, all your teacher ratings. It did some cool stuff. It wasn't just cheating. It allowed you to do things like you could plan your schedule, and the reason Facebook liked us back when students used Facebook was because as you planned your schedule, we would allow you to block out time. Like, I don't want any classes before 10, no classes Thursday or Friday after 3 p.m. But as you were planning your schedule and you scrolled through the options, it would show you which of your friends would be in your classes if you took this schedule, et cetera. And so we were sort of linking the two up. Second company was an engineering firm. We built products, did a lot of things like cloud migration, a lot of very technical. But one of the things we did in that company that I know we'll talk about today, because we all love robots, is part of Emerging Technology Advisors was, at some point in the company, large organizations like Price Waterhouse, like big organizations would start coming to us and saying, can you all help us tell our leadership what's really happening with these technologies we're hearing so much about? And so AI, don't just tell me what AI is. Everybody says AI, like, how's it going to impact my accounting division and things like that? And what we were tasked with was like, how do you creatively introduce things like virtual reality, augmented reality, 3D printing and additive manufacturing, language models and artificial intelligence? How do you explain that in a fun way? It was basically an opportunity for us to buy a bunch of cool toys before anybody else had them and show them off.
Hell yeah.
By the way, I got a couple of things I want to ask here. So, Pedro, now I've heard you referred to as Rob a number of times. Any chance you want to share the story behind whether your name is Rob or Pedro?
Yeah, I'll share it. So, said this a bunch of times on the show, so most people have already heard it. Name is Robert Peterson. My dad is a freaking weirdo, and when he used to go out to places, they ask what your name is. Instead of saying Robert, which is a very common name, so it's possibly another person in the establishment with your name, he would say Pedro, which means Peter in Spanish. Our last name is Peterson. So I grew up just hearing my dad when people would say, what's the name for whatever? And he'd be like, Pedro. I just started doing it because I thought it was cool, man. I mean, it's my dad. I was like, oh, that's funny shit. And like, I like stupid puns like that too. And then the potato part came from my boss, Kyle. We were just in a meeting and shooting the shit, and he jumped in last and he was just like, Pedro Potato, and yeah, it just stuck. So I literally have changed pretty much most of my stuff to say Pedro because now everyone calls me Pedro. So you say Robert, like Robert who? They're like Pedro. Oh yeah, okay. So,
all right. All right. So Pedro is all right then. That's now the preferred name.
Yeah, like I said, man, he has swindled many people into believing that his name is actually Pedro. So
yep, myself included. Myself included.
How funny is that though? That like this pale red-headed Scandinavian has people freaking believing that my name is Pedro.
Hey, nobody's gonna ask. What are they gonna say? Like, are you sure? Like,
dude,
I mean,
no. Oh no, they have. I actually just did a load for a person that has been on our show that has since become a customer of mine, and the gentleman that was his customer was of a Hispanic descent. He's up in New Jersey, and like when we were emailing back and forth, he didn't think nothing about it, even though my picture is in my email. He didn't say nothing about it because if you know anything, I mean, dude, there's redheads in every race. I mean, every single one. It is a gene that literally every human on the planet carries. It's just whether it gets activated in you. That's it. It's a recessive gene. Everyone has it. So he didn't think anything about it. But when we started talking and he heard me, and it's funny, when we first called, he started speaking to me in Spanish. And I was like, hey, bro, listen. His name is Cesar. He's a super cool fucking dude, man. And he asked me the story, and I explained it to him, and he was like, that is so dang funny, man, that you have people, it said the other, he's like, that you have people believing that your name is Pedro. And I even said to him, I said, yeah, man, I said, hey, I said, it's like, if you don't like it, dude, if, you find it offensive or whatever, just call me Robert. And he's like, no, absolutely not. I think it's hilarious. And we talked just the other day, and he calls me Pedro. So, I don't know.
You've locked it in. That's fantastic.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude, it's absolutely wonderful, man. And I want to say that I'm gonna say crazy small world, but my grandmother actually retired from Bell.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't know how to take that. Like, believe me, I am the oldest person in my operation, in my company by far. I get called a boomer on a daily basis, right? And I was not born shortly after World War II. I'm not a boomer, but to the millennials and now a ton of Gen Z have come in. I mean, if I'm not moving fast enough on the computer, if I don't respond quick enough, hell, I can't even keep up with the text and the emojis that I'm allowed to use. Like, I send a thumbs up when somebody says, hey, we're going to do this or whatever. I give them a thumbs up and they're like, are you mad at me? And I was like, what? Like, I am officially starting to feel really old, and it's.
Do you respond with K sometimes?
Listen, apparently emojis. I just heard this week because my company likes to have millennial, and now I guess it'll be Gen Z minute with me, where they coach me on like the right way to do things. Now, I'll be honest. In many cases, they are absolutely right. I grew up at a time when I had CDs. Hell, I had tape. I had mixtapes back in my day, but we had CDs. In fact, I brought this in to show them. Back in the day, if you had a cool car, you had like this. Just happened to be on my desk. You had one of these things, like a 6 CD changer. You put this in your car, you home. And so I grew up with CDs, next to my TV, CDs and DVDs and everything. And and they were like, could you please get on Spotify? Like, why do you want to own all your music? We were the people. We had what was it, Napster, and where you were downloading all the MP3s and you had to upload 3 to get
LimeWire.
Oh, exactly. And they were like, why do you do that? And I was like, well, because I want to own my music. And they were like, well, what if you didn't own it, but you could access any song you wanted to at any time? And it took me a little while, but it absolutely, there are times when they're absolutely right. So now I'm happy to acknowledge the fact that I no longer have a CD collection or a DVD collection. I can listen to whatever music I want to at any time. But yeah, there's a lot of that goes on in a company where you are the sole Gen X or to them boomer in the operation. So,
well, dude, people forget, man. CDs are the purest sound quality of any music. Like digitally, it doesn't sound as good to me. But if you want to look into something, man, there's this app called Tidal, and it'll give you like the highest quality of any music on planet Earth. It's worth it.
I feel like that's an argument that goes back, that transcends time, because if you say CDs are the best, I'm gonna find somebody that says vinyl. There's nothing compares with vinyl.
Well, dude, I'm a huge vinyl guy. I probably have like 500 in my collection. And that snap, crackle, pop, I don't know. It hits me, listen to Zeppelin 3, it just hits differently. Or Dark Side of the Moon, man. That's like my go-to front to back. But yeah, man, dude. I used to burn CDs back in high school, mixtapes for road trips and everything.
Absolutely. So, absolutely. Now, it's still, all of that is a huge advancement over when you used to have to rewind tapes to get to the song that you wanted to listen to, or it was on the beginning of the tape on the other side. It takes you 5 minutes just to rewind it to the right place. But yeah, no, absolutely. But there's a benefit to working with we've got a ton of talented people here. Really, I mean, we're a technology company. And so, the ability to work around people that are really, really extraordinarily talented when it comes to technology. That's what it comes with. It comes with, hey, old person, I'm gonna show you the right way to do this. In fact, they actually moved me to Apple. I mean, I was a PC guy my entire life, and at some point they're like, you gotta move over to like the company gear and everything. So now I'm still, I'm about 5 months into being an Apple guy now, and it's fine. Technology company.
Yeah, you lost so many cool points with that. Hunter disagrees. He's an Apple person. He buys into all that.
I have an iPhone, dude. That's it. I don't know why you pin me as an Apple freak.
I thought you. My bad.
No, I don't have a Mac, dude.
I thought you had a MacBook and stuff.
Man, I'm PC guy all day long. That and my work phone, dude. It just makes it better.
Yeah, after this is over, we're going to talk about Red Dead Redemption.
No spoilers. No spoilers, man.
No, absolutely not. I would never. That's a great one. The thing that, especially for anybody that's listening, in the transportation space, I think the way that we got started talking was, we sit squarely in between where historically, certainly following you all as long as I have, are more on the transportation space, changing, obviously, and happy to be part of that change. But we sit squarely between the receiving dock and the shipping dock, right? I mean, we are all of the stuff that happens in between there, and what we try to do is move stuff through that facility more effectively, right? Faster, more effectively. There is some tie-in because, funny story, when we are talking to a new customer and we can look up where their facilities are, they may be co-located, they may be all over the place. We'll actually go into Google Maps and we'll pull up their facilities. We'll look at the size of their facilities, are we talking about, 25,000 square foot facility. We're talking about 1.5 million square feet. But when you pull it up in Google Maps, there's always Google reviews, even for distribution operations. And man, what caught us the first, and it's consistent, the reviews for distribution centers are almost exclusively from the people that like the transportation companies that are bringing goods in and pulling goods out. And if you get a 1-star review, it's because it's a disaster getting in there. They got me sitting in the yard for 3 hours. It's taken them 3.5 hours to unload the truck. And some of the reviews are colorful and fun to read. If you own a distribution center, go take a look at your Google reviews. Your truck drivers will tell you exactly how they feel about your operation. It's pretty fun. So to that extent, I do think there's some tie-in between what we're trying to do is help keep stuff moving through there quicker, and ultimately there's certainly a tie-in. I mean, we also are now getting into yard management and things like that as well, where that line between what we used to do and what y'all have historically focused on is starting to become the same supply chain, right?
Right. Yeah, and I mean, to your point too, man, because like I've used Google Maps a bunch, for my prospecting, and outside of the drivers, like you'll even see where like employees or like family members of employees in the warehouse, like talking about, man, this manager in here, he's the biggest asshole, he doesn't care about us, like everything's just being done wrong. So, that it all ties in together, man. And like you said, even something as simple as finding what door you're supposed to go to, what dock, who you're supposed to speak with, like it all makes a difference. Like I've had drivers sit there for an hour because they're at the wrong spot. And I call the customer like, what the hell's going on? It's like, oh, they're supposed to be across the street.
Yeah, that goes back to like the first story I talked about how we got started here. One of the things that I think we started in 2021. So, right. I mean, great time to start a company, right? Like right in the midst of COVID, right?
Yeah.
But when we went into the operations, you see people that are my generation and they've worked there for 20 years, right? I mean, that was commonplace. And now you've got a younger millennial Gen Z workforce coming in, and they have a slightly different set of expectations, certainly a different relationship with work. And the idea that you're never going to talk to me, you're never going to tell me where I can grow or where there's opportunity for some, additional growth or additional pay, et cetera, like that's not going to fly. You have to talk to people. And one of the things that when we started the company, there, one of the 2 rules that the 3 founders, as we were discussing starting the company, rule number 1 was we're a software company. We build technology. That's what we do. We are not going to build custom software. So we don't have a consulting practice. We don't provide professional services. We don't customize software when our customer says like, I don't like the purple on your screen. Can you make it red? Like, no, we're a SaaS platform, just like Microsoft or Teams or Slack or anything else that you use. But the other thing that we said was, we measure what's going on in the facilities, not just people, but we measure robots. We measure anything that is a part of moving the goods through the facility. But we recognized when you start doing that, you're measuring people, right? You're going to put a number over people's heads. And we said, this is what everybody's done. Historically, this industry has sort of viewed humans as like, can your software or can you measure and tell me who the bottom 20% are? I'm just going to get rid of them and then I'm going to replace them. Those days are over. They were over thanks to COVID, right? But they're also over because that isn't the relationship people have with work anymore. There's not a line of people outside the door ready to replace the people that you decide you want to get rid of. And so when we built the company, we said, we're not just going to be a prettier version of numbers over people's heads. You can't go out there and just say, Hunter, work 20% harder, I'm going to get rid of you. It's got to be a conversation about, hey, here's where you are. Here's how that works, alongside your team. Here's how your team is doing. Here's where, opportunities for growth are, and here's what's in it for you. And that's served us very well. I think the days of, hey, I'm just going to get rid of you and replace you they're long over at this point. And I think that's probably a good thing.
All right.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that really does stem back to like even just like simple training, man. Like taking care of your employees and making sure that like they're set up for success. Because like it's just like the saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I don't know if that's the right thing to say on that, but you know what I'm trying to say here. But Pedro, what are you about to say, brother?
Oh, I was just going to say, fantastic explanation on the building of the company, the rules, and kind of what y'all's I guess you'd say, ground level ideal or mission is. But looking at y'all's website, there's a lot more that encompasses what all y'all do. You're on the website, you kind of classify yourself as a labor management software and solution, but the things, the data that you guys pull and the integrations that you can do within the distribution center or warehouse facility, it allows for a lot more, right? I mean, y'all guys are ultimately about getting maximum efficiency and operational excellence out of these the employees, the programs, everything that they use, including robots, if that's what they're using. Making sure that everything is working in conjunction with one another to bring forth maximum effort. So talk about some of those other things, Glynn, like dig into with us, the importance of this data as a whole, and how it matters to this stuff getting in and out of the building quickly. Sorry.
No, that's what a great setup. I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. We a lot of folks think of us as labor management. And let's be very clear, in some of the facilities that we work in, human productivity is the only thing moving goods through the warehouse. Increasingly, that's changing as people are implementing goods to person, collaborative robotics, et cetera. And so what used to be 100% humans responsible for moving goods through the warehouse, maybe it's 90% humans and 10% robots now. And I think where that falls apart, so we consider ourselves warehouse intelligence, right? When people say labor management, it's because the majority of the use of our platform is still focused on that 80 or 90% or 100% that are humans driving it through there. But you can't just look at one part of these operations. They are, for all intents and purposes, they are a series of things that have to work together, right? Robots, humans, right? The receiving dock, the shipping, everything has to sort of be timed. It's like gears that have to be kind of timed together. And you have to sort of look at it at that higher level, because what happens in the absence of looking at it at like holistically at that higher level is we have customers that have implemented robotics, tens of millions of dollars in robotics. And in many cases, they're coming back to the people that that sold them the robots, or the consultants that laid out their warehouse, and saying, okay, I just invested $20 million in a robotics solution, and I'm not seeing the goods go out the back door any quicker or more efficiently. And then what happens is a lot of finger pointing, right? The robot people blame the humans because it's a replen issue. The humans are blaming the robots because they're not actually getting the goods to person. And if you're only able to look at just the robotics or just the humans or just this part of the operation, you're going to end up focused on optimizing one gear. And the only thing that matters is how those gears are resulting out the door. And I think that's been a real unlock for us, is to have that sort of, we're looking at the end result, which is where your customers are looking at. I mean, our customers are about 50-50 retail and e-commerce. And 50% 3PLs, right? 3PL is a great example because these operations live and die by margin, right? I mean, they might have 18 customers in a single facility. They've probably got different contracts, or how they get paid with all 18 of them are a little bit different. And when they write those contracts, they're like, oh, I put 10% margin on that contract. All of my contracts should be making me 10 or 15% margin. But at the end of the month, I'm only seeing 4% out the door. And when you start to unwind that, and that's really what the data does, right? It's optimizing and showing you what's going on, telling you what to change. But when you really look at it, it's because 10 of those customers you got are making you 15% or more, and 8 of those customers are break even or losing you money. And I think that's one of the really exciting things, is the ability to look sort of at the level that the customers are really thinking about. They're introducing automation and introducing elements to the operation to speed it up. And even in many cases, robots are a great addition to humans. But at the end of the day, everything is really, is it returning on my investment or is it not? And you have to look at it at that level you're talking about.
Dude, I love that, man. We talk backstage, man. I am all about streamlining everything. Like, man, if you can make something work better, work faster, and provide better results, like, that is what I want, and I think that is what our industry wants, and you and I and Hunter, Glynn, we talked when we had our meeting before the show about how the supply chain in a sense, as far as like traditional transportation, like trucks and stuff, man, it starts and ends in a building, a warehouse with docks. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And the faster that you can get product pulled, get it wrapped, put on pallets, whatever it is, get that stuff on a truck or off a truck, get it checked in, get those things done, and make sure everything is, as we say in the military, dress right, dress, the
Yep.
better the system flows, right? A huge problem in our industry with drivers, and I would just say, period, is detention, man. You know what I mean? Like you were talking about in these reviews, these trucks sitting at these facilities for hours and hours and hours, and a lot of this has to do with operational inefficiencies with inside that building. You know what I mean?
Yep.
A lot of folks are not utilizing technology the way that they should be. And they don't have processes in place to make sure that things are running quickly. So I say all this to lead into this question right here. What is one of the biggest things that you guys have seen, that slows operations in these warehouses down? Is it the human element? Is it the robotic element? Is it the lack of one or the other? Dive into
Yeah.
that a little bit for us.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna lean into your military analogy a little bit here with the following caveat. I did not serve in the military, so I don't want my references to the military to be construed as stolen valor, right? My company would give me a hard time. I did not serve in the military. However, I grew up in a very military family, and there are elements of running these operations that could learn a lot from the military. And there are two elements that I think we were literally on a call this morning with a potential customer that I think we'll be working with here shortly. He's a former Marine, and he was the one that brought up, the fact that these operations are really structured in many ways like a military structure, right? You have people that are looking across the network. Your chief supply chain officers are, they're looking at the theater type of thing, right? Then when you come down to a facility leader, they've got responsibility for a battalion or something like that. And ultimately, when you get out on the operational floor, you've got people leaders that are leading a platoon of people that are out on the front line. What really strikes us as different in the operations, at least what we've seen, and I think is still the case, is that unlike the military, all of the information that is available to leadership sort of goes one way, right? It goes to the people out on the front line. They're all carrying RF devices around. They're scanning, they're doing stuff all day long. But those devices, for all intents and purposes, everybody's carrying around an Android phone, right? That they're using with the WMS and scanning things and things like that. But it's a one-way device. All it's doing is saying, hey, human, go here, do this, go here, do this. And that would never work in a military structure. You rely on the people on the front line to be providing feedback the other way. And I'll give you a great example in an operation. Managers may walk the floor, especially in larger operations. Manager may have 200 people covering tens of thousands of square feet in an operation. Until they walk around, the communication is only going one way. And I think it's crazy to us that the people carrying around Android phones, for all intents and purposes, why are we not looking to them to be the eyes and ears out there in the field? They're the first people to know, I'm not idle, I'm out of work. My machine broke. There's a fire. There's a safety issue, right? I mean, there are so many elements that are overlooked when it comes to leveraging data that is just not tapped in these operations right now. And it's not complex. And it isn't just about operational improvement. There's also a value to giving a voice to the people on the front line. In many cases, you've got industrial engineers in there that are talking about, well, this is how we optimize this process and everything. How about we go talk to Rob, the guy that is consistently knocking it out of the park in this procedure, and ask him, how is it that you're able to do this? And so I think there's a lot of that. The other part of your question, I think what we see in this space is that, and I'll be honest, the expectations that people hold technology to in this space are archaic. I mean, the things that you get away with building technology in this space, and again, I'm not attacking anyone. It's not about a legacy system. It's more what we would expect from our traditional software that you use at home, whether it's Teams or Slack or a Microsoft Office or anything like that. expect to have to go through months of training or hundreds of thousands of dollars of training to be able to get this thing up and running. You expect it to work. You expect, especially take the apps on your phone. You said that your wife sent you TikTok. Did you ever have to pull a manual out and figure out how to use TikTok? Like, technology is supposed to be in large part self-explanatory. I'm guessing you don't get a bill every 6 months to upgrade your TikTok because you've changed something. Like, that's how it's supposed to be. And I think that's the other thing we see in this space, and arguably how we're approaching it is, build software in this space that's the same level of the same level of expectation that you would have from any other software that you use in your private life, and that's just not the case today. And so I think the way we build it is certainly with a modern approach. We build it with the expectation that it's easy to use, easy to get up and running. The other piece is know your end user. The people that are using our software are on the front line. They are not interested in going through this and using it like a BI tool, slicing and dicing data. It is, can you tell me what I need to know right now so I can get right back to work? There are other people in the operation that use our platform more like a data tool, but very different design for the people that are using it one way than the people that are using it on the front line. I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah, first I want to say, your military lingo knowledge is impeccable, sir. And your understanding of military structure, I love that. Like, most people have no idea what the hell the difference between a platoon and a battalion is.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, for someone that hasn't served, love it. And
Yeah, that got beat into me. I mean, it's a lot of military in the family, right?
man, I see nothing wrong with it, man. I grew up military too. I mean, my whole family, we've served this nation literally since World War II.
Nice.
Under someone. So
I appreciate your service.
oh man, my honor. No appreciation needed, man. I mean, it's the least I can do for the greatest country on the planet, right? But anyway, so talking about the military structure thing, I agree with it. One thing that is great about the type of structure and organization that military offers is it's very direct. You know what I mean? And there is a plan A through Z. I mean, there are infinite backups to these things. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that a lot of more companies need to be set up like that.
My dad would say one of the greatest things about the American military is that the people are empowered to make decisions at all levels of the operation, right? Especially when direct command is not available or isn't present at that point in time. We empower people throughout the organization to make their own decisions, and I think that's something that we could learn a lot from in supply chain.
Yeah, I agree. And sorry, I got distracted trying to read something here off to the side. My point to that, apologies. I'm getting feedback from my co-host here. I'm getting feedback from the co-host here.
Yeah, old technology, Rob, man.
Dude, it's not technology. I don't know what happened, bro. I can always hear myself in my headphones, and I can't. So, like I said, dude, I mean, I can turn this thing up. It'll probably blast, so I don't want to sound like I'm screaming in everyone's ear. You know what I mean? Anyway, hold on, let me get my train of thought back now. We were talking about the military structure.
Empowering the people to make decisions. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, that part. So that is another thing that is, as someone who has been in the multiple layers of this industry, a driver, transportation manager, shipper position, broker, all that. I have seen that as well. The disconnect from the people that sit in the office a majority time behind a computer, doing managerial things, that lack of communication and pulling of things from the people that are out there, pulling the product, loading the trucks, wrapping stuff, unloading the trucks, doing inventory, all of those things. It is a lot of time amiss. They will have the data that'll pull into it, but people don't know how to properly use it. So, it is a thing. And you use the example of the person that is, out there doing it, who is killing it every single time. Like, all of their numbers match, they don't have any wrong pulls, any wrong picks, and, all of these things, and those are the ones that you do want to be getting with and speaking to, asking them how they're doing stuff and using that stuff to make the operation better.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, if done correctly, a lot of this is around how do you support the front line. Even the introduction of automation, if done correctly in these operations, is wonderful. If it's introduced correctly, it can help the human workforce. It can take away the jobs that are unnecessary for them, that are repetitive for them. It actually, you know what? It brings up a question I wanted to ask you all. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to ask questions or how much time we have, but I got a great question.
Good,
I'm
man.
gonna fire your way, because I have not seen all of the conversations that you've had with the transportation industry, but I'm interested in, just like automation's making its way into the four walls of the facility. There's a lot of talk right now about automation making its way into the transportation side of the supply chain, and I'm interested. How is the industry looking at things like autonomous vehicles and things like that? And I'm not trying to cause trouble here. I'm just interested. The same way that humans are the only people moving goods through the process. Right now, we rely on entirely humans, largely for freight, transportation, trucking. And there's just a lot of talk about implementing automation into that. And I was curious what the general sentiment is, and maybe time frame that you all think automation makes its way into the rest of the supply chain.
I'm gonna let
Is
you.
that a dangerous question? Is that a landmine I just asked you all to step on?
I'm gonna let you go first, Hunter.
Oh shit.
So with automation, I don't mind the automation in the supply chain at all, except for the idea of automated trucks. I think that is one of the dumbest ideas on planet Earth. I guess, like, I don't know, maybe a yard goat could be a place for an automated truck, but like outside of that, you just can't take the human touch out of that, man. Like, I don't care what you say. And like, even now, I think over in Europe, they're testing it out, but they still have to have someone in the truck. But like for warehouses, I see, it's great, man. Like that definitely has a place in it, and like we've talked about before, man, like some of the, just remedial tasks that you have to do as a broker.
Yep.
You don't necessarily need a person doing that. It's wasting time. Time is money. So, I definitely think it has its place, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, obviously there's a ton of technology out there now. So what survives, the long haul will be, but I don't know. Rob, what you think on the whole situation?
So I'll try to call all of it. So automation within the supply chain period. Hunter, do I sound okay? All right, cool. All right. I appreciate it, man. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
It is extremely aggravating for me not to be able to hear myself since I'm used to it. All right. So automation within the supply chain period. Within the warehouse, robotics, stuff like that. I'm okay with it. I get it, advancement and all that stuff. I'm not okay with it because obviously a robot means a human is not doing a job, and that is a person that is now in the unemployment line and has to go find possibly a new skill. So there's where that thing lies with that. Also, with that, I say this with a lot of things, including cars now, like the blind spot monitoring. Automation and technology makes people dumber and lazy. It does. I mean, you can argue me all you want, but I'm sorry. Like, let it go on the internet and go watch the videos of the people that walk around and ask people who the first president was, and they say shit like John Kennedy. I mean,
yeah, they have
seriously.
no idea.
Yeah. So, and I say that to say this, that technology has its place, robotics, automation, all of those things, 100%. But the thing that a lot of companies fail to do is, where's your backup plan, bud?
Yep.
What do you still have a human trained to do that job if that technology or robot fails? Let's use Verizon as an example. Here earlier this year, same thing happened with AT&T. Same thing happened with Microsoft Windows. Our country literally came to a halt when it came to flying planes because we're so dependent on technology. A platform went down, and we're all deer in the headlights over here. You
Yep.
know what I mean? When it wasn't just 30 years ago that that you could operate our entire air system without having to rely on freaking Microsoft Windows. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
those are my issues with technology. I'm cool with, like, I understand it's going to happen, but where are our fail safes? Where are the fail safes within the supply chain when this thing goes down? What are we doing? Automated trucks. Completely against them. I think it's the dumbest idea. The only reason that it is a thing is because the government is providing tax dollars and subsidies to these morons to run their companies. You can say what you want. You can argue me. This is not a political thing. This is just facts. And so autonomous vehicles, they're just, I don't think they're viable now for the open road stuff. I think they could be used in the local markets eventually once we get the technology figured out. We've even had issues, in Vegas. I think what Tesla had the automated vehicles there, wasn't it? You know what I mean? Tesla had them in Vegas, and they had a few incidents or whatever it was there with the
Yeah, they're
driverless
testing out
vehicles.
cabs. I don't know if they have any long haul stuff there, but yeah, they tested out cabs and stuff there as well.
Yeah. So, like the short stuff, I can understand. I can see that being a thing. I don't feel long haul that it's going to be viable for a quite a long time. And again, here's the thing with that is, where is the human if something goes wrong? Which now there's a lot of states that, are walking back and saying, hey, if you're going to do these automated vehicles, there needs to be a human in the driver's seat, to take control of stuff. That is a good thing. And then I think that's what needs to happen because, I think we can all agree, as great as technology is and as fast reacting as it can be, there is no replacement for human intuition. There just isn't. There is not. Like the human eye, the human mind, the ear, all the senses that we have, and even your gut feelings, you understand things. And I'll talk as a truck driver here.
Yeah.
And all drivers can understand this. Like, we know what people are going to do. Even now, I haven't driven a truck for 7 years, 6 years, I don't know, a while. But I still to this day can be going down the highway and see someone and I'm like, they're about to do this. And it's exactly what they do. You know what I mean? We understand the habits of the other drivers on the road because that's what we do. We're out there every single day driving these trucks, driving, and we understand stuff. And I'm sorry, a computer just can't understand that. You know what I mean? And I just don't feel like it.
No, the intuition that you're talking about, I think that's true everywhere. And I think it is all technology, right? Has to be respectful of how it is being implemented to support humans, right, as opposed to replace humans. And I think that's tricky, even inside the four walls. There's some things that I think when your operation is supportive of robotics doing things like goods to person, where repetitive tasks and things like that are not necessary, I think it makes a ton of sense. But yeah, you're talking about something that my previous company, Emerging Technology Advisors, that's what we talked about is, where are these things really today? The people that are building the technology are going to tell you it can do all of these things. The people that don't want that technology can say it's never going to be able to do that. And finding the right way to implement it and integrate it in a way that is 100% supportive of the humans is really what the goal of this is. And no, it's interesting. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw a landmine out there like that. It's one of the things I'm very interested in, and I know your audience is I'm sure passionate about, and certainly more knowledgeable than I am. It's not something that we ever worked with, and so it's very interesting, from the outside to try and figure out, like, realistically, where are we as a civilization, and like, is that progress? How close are we, et cetera? So yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
No landmine at all. I mean, and it's a conversation that continuously needs to be had. Everyone has a different perspective on it. And it is coming. I mean, is as much as I would love to hold on to the old times and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, all of those things are coming. It is inevitable and it's going to happen. The problem is I think that we're at a point, especially generationally, you're talking about millennials, Gen Zers, they want everything now. Everything's got to be now. We got to be now. And so I think that a lot of this stuff is being rushed to the
Yep.
finish line. You know what I mean? Like, we're just, hey, let's get this product out here so we can get funding and customers and blah, blah, blah. Who cares if it really doesn't do what it says it's going to do and it breaks every 30 minutes? You know what I mean? So
Yep.
That's the other part, I think, is we just need to maybe put a little bit more forethought into stuff and slow down a little bit when it comes to some of the things, you know?
Yeah, I could not agree with you more. This is an industry that is playing. It changed very quickly, faster than anybody expected, right? I mean, even the facilities that we visit, right? I mean, these are 10 years ago, there was no 24 hours B2C, I got to have it on your doorstep. It was, I'm going to ship it to a store, and people are going to go to that store and they're going to find what they want, and they're going to take it to the cashier, and the cashier is going to ring them up, and then they're going to take it home. And in a course of 10 to 15 years or less, all of a sudden it was, I'm not going to move off my couch. I expect that thing on my porch tomorrow, right? Everything that previously relied on me going to that store, picking the thing, checking it out, paying for it, bringing it home, all of that, I'd like to dump off on the supply chain now. Can you just take care of that for me? And it is hard when the change happens that quickly. And I think you're right. There's an element of thrashing that happens as you try and play catch up and look for opportunities as a business that don't always necessarily net out as the best approach.
Well, let's hear your take on it though, Glynn. You know, like, where are you at with these autonomous vehicles and the automation, robotics in the warehouse and stuff? You know, especially is a company that, you know, your stuff integrates with some of those things I'd mentioned.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I am certainly one of the forward-leaning technology people. While I agree with you 100% that much of this is moving way quicker than is necessarily safe or even appropriate in some cases, I am a fan of, and I am pulling for technology to be able to deliver on what it says it can deliver on, right? If we go back to, sorry, Rob, you and I were talking about this earlier, since I know that you're a little closer to my age, not really that close, but closer to my age. I mean, how many people can drive an automatic? I mean, how many people can drive a manual car nowadays, right? I mean, you get stuck with a manual car, like, stop. There's like 1 out of 100 people that are going to be able to help you move that vehicle. There are times when it is helpful. We are absolutely, no question about it, removing some of the skill sets that we rely on people, and you called it smarts. The question is there a way to replace that smarts with something that is more important, right? I mean, is there a way that this truly doesn't replace a human or put a human in the unemployment line, but creates an opportunity for a human to do something that is maybe pays better, is a little bit less, reliant upon, their physical or time limitations. And so I'm excited about it, but cautiously excited about it. In fact, I was telling Hunter, if you all get a chance, ProMat's coming up next month. It's free to attend, and 75,000 people are going to drop into Chicago. And if you want to see automation doing stuff that humans probably used to do, and I don't think that anybody on this call would disagree with, the ones that the chocolate bars spit out of the machine and they're all misaligned, and that's not going to wrap them correctly. So there's a machine that's looking at them with a camera and lining up the candy bars. Like, there are some appropriate uses of technology that I think prove out very well. I think there is absolutely, in our country and in the demands of a new generation, a desire to have technology solve everything and just give me what I want right now. And I think that's probably moving far too fast. That's good for anybody. I think if all it's doing is allowing you to do less, know less, and still get what you want, we probably are not doing the human race any good.
Well, it's kind of funny to see how this technology advances too, and they call it advancing. Pedro, remember us talking about the steamship lines talking about putting sails on their boats and calling it
right?
revolution? Yeah.
What was it going to do?
This revolutionary technology using a
what was that going to do? Reduce their carbon footprint or something?
No, yeah,
I guess.
Yes, I mean, yes, but what Hunter's thing is they literally did, Glenn. Had a big show or a news story about this on the show, and Hunter was like, brought this. He's like, Rob, can you believe this shit? They put sails on a cargo ship and were like, look at this cutting edge technology. It was all over the internet, Glenn. Like people were trolling him. Like, are you serious right now?
Yeah. No, that's why I think it's an interesting conversation that's never going to go away. But we just need to be on top of it, right? I think we can all agree. And Rob, to your point, the question that we should be asking is, how is this automation, how is this improvement better serving, right, the humans that are involved in this process, right? It should not be a one versus the other. And if you find yourself in a situation where you're implementing any type of automation, where there is a visceral human reaction to the automation, I think you have to take a pause and say, are we doing this? Is this a bottom line thing, or is this actually, really to augment and help the human element of this operation?
I agree, brother. I agree. We got a little off track, so I want to get back.
Yeah. Oh no, you're good.
Back with you, man. I want to get back with you. I love
this bottle's almost empty. This is why we got off track.
No, man, we got off track is because like you're just a good conversationalist and you're quickly able to pivot. And I love it. You're also bringing everything right back to making it a point to what you guys do. So, talking about implementing your guys' system into an operation, what type of improvements are companies seeing? Can you give us some kind of numbers or some kind of examples, of the level of improvements? There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we're not going to do sales here. I'm not here to sell this company.
No, man, but we want to hear though. That's the point of it.
The reason people implement Takt and implement our system is because they want to be able to move goods through the facility more efficiently, and that directly translates to lower cost, right? If you're a 3PL, it's going to be able to increase your margin, which is what you live and die by. If you're a retailer or e-commerce person, you're able to, it definitely affects your bottom line. It isn't maybe necessarily directly attributed to the beauty department versus the activewear department versus, shoes or something like that. But at the end of the day, everything that we do is about helping someone that's running one of these operations lower the cost of moving 100 goods out the door. And that's exactly what we do. In terms of improvement, I will tell you that it's a bit of a crawl, walk, run. This isn't something that you turn the platform on and then a week from now, you're automatically 20% more efficient. There are elements that when you turn on in a facility, people tend to focus on things like, well, you thought that your startup time, that your team was, you've got a morning meeting, which is great. Everybody needs to have that. You need to set the expectations for the day. But you thought that morning meeting was 15 minutes. Turns out it's about 50 minutes between the time when people are clocking in and you're actually getting them out on the floor to work. Same thing with shutdown time. If you are one of the people in the operation, and I'm both I'm both in awe of people that are capable of doing this, but if you're one of the people that is somehow capable of building a bed in the racks and find out how to hide for 4 hours, it's going to become obvious, right? And so the crawl element is really focused on some of that startup, shutdown time off task type of stuff. But our platform is really learning over time. It's building up almost a baseball card, is what we call it, on everybody in the facility, not to be able to be used against them, but to show them, hey, Hunter, did you know that we consistently put Hunter in picking all day long, where he is infinitely happier, right? This is where he prefers to be, and he's better productively when he's in picking, right? And so there's this sort of second level as the system learns about the people and the processes in the operation. And then there's a lot of stuff that we capture that really doesn't leave any digital breadcrumbs today, right? Things like unloading a truck, ICQA, maintenance, housekeeping, prep work. All of that stuff is happening off gun. It's happening off of any digital, any system whatsoever. And there's two problems with that. One, it's completely invisible to you. And two, those people never get any credit for the work that they are doing because they're just not leaving the blips that everybody else is leaving. And so I think for us, that crawl, walk, run consistently is able to drive 20% or more reduction in cost within the first year. More importantly, I will tell you that underlying everything that we do is a focus on communicating with the front line. There's a huge element of our product that isn't just, I've measured Rob. It is, you need to go communicate with Rob. Rob wants to know where he is, where the opportunities are, what's in it for him. If he does this, how's his team doing? And so there's a huge element of what we've done that is in the platform that is really focused on how do you have better, more effective conversations with Rob? How do you how can Rob follow along with his progress? And I'll tell you that we approach it with the assumption that everybody out on the front line is trying to put an honest day's work in. And there are things that you can do to better support them, to tell them where they're great, where there's opportunity for growth, where they prefer to be, et cetera. And I think that that we focus heavily on that. And I will tell you that we have run the data. We're still a data platform for our customers who talk to their people every 30 to 60 days, have a conversation. Could be coaching, could be, Rob, you're doing a great job today. But for our customers who talk to their people every 30 to 60 days, just to check in at least, those folks are 18 to 25% more productive and happier. And so, we don't even attempt to quantify savings of employee engagement and retention. But I think if we had to pitch a dream, it is that we're not here just for management and operations to be able to say the bottom line looks better. I think the dream for us is, are we also taking care of the front line and putting them where they want to be?
Dang.
The savings can be significant, though. If you got a 50-minute startup time and you got 100 people in your facility, you'd be surprised at how much the difference between a 50-minute startup and a 15-minute startup looks like.
We need like a mic drop sound. So Glynn goes, I'm not here to sell, but let me sell.
All right, Steve.
No, man, that was good, dude. That was so nice. I love that. That was passionate. I just time marked that. That is going to be a short for sure, man. And we've you brought up something else, that we have talked a lot about, kind of the warehouse portion of it, and people are probably getting the idea, oh man, we're talking about picking and pulling, folks on the forklifts and all that stuff. But, you were just talking about, oh man, your maintenance people, your housekeeping folks, all of these things, so, can you maybe take a step into, why do those things matter? Again, we're bringing it back to this labor management solution. That's what you guys are, this software that are taking care of this. Why does all of those things matter when it comes to, bigger margins and making more profit and making people happier as well?
All right, I'm going to be shorter here than I was last time. Because most people think that that's 15 or 20% of the cost of running their operation. And when you actually turn the lights on, in many cases, it's more than 40%. We have a customer with very large facilities that regularly tracks 800 plus hours of what we call indirect time, right? Things that previously were completely invisible to them. And that is down 20+% or more from where it started at. And it's just because, you don't really have the ability to say, is this right, until you're able to track it. And there's another thing that's going on that I think is 3PLs in particular do a lot of value-added services. So it isn't just pulling stuff off the shelves. It isn't just packing stuff. Now you've got folks that are putting kitting together. They're doing value-added services. They're creating end caps and things like that. All of those are actually producing direct value for your customers. But most of the time, tracking how many kits you put together for your customer, or how many Frito-Lay, kid packs you put together and things like that, that sort of goes unnoticed. It is direct work. It's costing you money, but you need to be able to give those people credit for it. And so a lot of what we do in the platform is, how do we help you keep track of that, with the caveat that please don't make this a huge administrative lift. If you make my people go all over the place and take 20 minutes to keep track of the stuff they're doing, it's no longer a value. And so help us get a hold of that, but help us do that in a way that doesn't require my people to cross clock all day long, go and spend 15 minutes of their day just trying to keep track of, well, I was working over here, now I'm working over here. And so by doing so, we can give again, that comprehensive view that we talked about earlier has to be inclusive of whether it's 15, 20, or 40% of your operation that you don't see. The only way you're truly looking at how are we doing overall with warehouse intelligence includes that significant portion of what you do. And so, and the other thing is, you can give those people credit. Previously, those people couldn't be included in incentive plans. They weren't really able to follow along. That stuff was done on spreadsheets or tick marks on a clipboard, et cetera. So I think that it falls to us. It falls into the category of increasing that operational efficiency, understanding where your opportunities are, and yet at the same time, also take better care of the people on the front line who previously got no credit for this.
Man, Glynn, brother. So, we talked several times here about automation and robotics and all that stuff. But, you have said, I don't know, I can't even keep track at this point, so many times about the people, the individual, the worker, and how this allows for them to be seen. Your system is highlighting the efforts of the individual laborer within a company, whether it be the forklift guy or the janitor or the person that flicks the lights on. Like, you guys are showing, hey, this is what this person does and the role that they're playing within your organization, how much money it's costing, the benefit that they are providing to them, and
how they're making their team better. Absolutely,
dude. And I love that, because y'all are highlighting the effectiveness and the need for the human being in an operation. Like, yeah, there's a robot out there. I see him at Sam's now, man, that they can go and clean the floor. You know what I mean? They got a little deal. They go, clean the floor for everybody. It's no longer a person sitting on that stuff. But still, we're able to measure, you guys are measuring how effective is, this unmanned thing versus this man thing. This is the value that the individual is putting into your company and the importance that they are to this. And I can also see that, I don't want to, actually, I'm going to not say that because I don't want to make it sound anything bad. But, anyway, this gives companies a way to, I want to say it, recognize the individual. You know what I mean? It really does. You've used an example several times, of a person that, hey, they're really good at this job. This is where they like to be. So we're on. And I think that a lot of companies, they don't think about that, is a happy worker is an effective worker. You know what I mean? And like, you may have hired Hunter to be a forklift driver, but Hunter really, really likes wrapping pallets. Like, he is just the shit at wrapping pallets. Like, this dude can wrap 50 pallets before the robot can wrap 45. You know what I mean? And so, hey, is Hunter's time better served wrapping 50 pallets, or is his time better served being on a forklift where he's, about average with everyone else?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, and you had also had mentioned that about opportunities. And I think this also allows companies to see the opportunities that an employee may have to better the company in a different space than what they're currently in. And I think that's a really cool thing, brother. I mean, maybe you don't see that, but I see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and as a manager, those would be the things I'm looking at. Where is Glynn best serving my organization? Is it him sitting behind a computer, or is it him out there walking the floor, hyping the team up and making their productivity go up? Is Hunter or Rob's time better spent, on the forklift or clean the toilet, so when the customer comes in, they can literally see their reflection in the urinal? You know what I mean? So
no, I'll be honest with you, and I'll leave you with this, because I think, and I hope this doesn't come across too preachy. There's a benefit to my team and I coming to this this world, supply chain, from the technology world. When we set foot in that distribution, we come from Amazon and Google, places that you take for granted the fact, until you set foot in a supply chain operation, that the people in supply chain, truckers, folks that are moving freight, and certainly everybody in the operation, when COVID hit, nobody was working from home. This whole working for, like, we came from the I could work from home world. And I think it stood out to us what the work actually looks like, what this industry looks like. I think coming from the outside, you have an appreciation for, like, holy shit, like, this is real work, right? I mean, not that what we did wasn't valuable in technology companies, but there is an appreciation coming from that world into supply chain. And I'll say something else really nice about supply chain. coming from the large technology companies, we love working with the partners and the customers that we have in supply chain. It's very different. You all will say things and use words and have conversations that would have gotten any of us fired in many technology companies, right? And it's not that it's inappropriate. It's just that I'm going to tell you how I feel. This is what I expect from this relationship. It isn't, do I just like your technology? It is, do I want to work with your team? I want to understand who I'm going to be talking to. I want to understand what our relationship is when some shit goes sideways, who I'm going to be talking to and what that relationship is going to look like. It's different. It is different. And I think we benefited from having an outside viewpoint 4 years ago coming into this and saying, okay, this is what's going on. We need to approach this from a position of respect for the people that are coming in here and doing this every day. And again, I don't want to sound too preachy. We're still an accounting software. We're still keeping track of what people are doing and identifying opportunities for it. But we absolutely came to this from a perspective of everybody here is trying to put an honest day's work in, a real honest, hard day's work in. And that's where that's where you should start from. Anything that you do with data, anything that you do with measurement or accountability or anything like that should come from a position of an assumption that this is the hardest working group of people that intends to put an honest day's work in and start from that point and work from there. So I don't know. I mean, I hope that didn't sound too preachy, but I cannot stress enough how different this industry is and how much we love the relationships that we have with our customers. We have publicly traded companies that have said shit to me face to face that I would never have heard, but I know exactly where I stand and I know exactly what's expected of this relationship to get it fixed. And we go off and we go fix that thing. And I love that type of relationship. It isn't some, after I leave, they're sending stuff and BCC and their managers and stuff like that. And they'll just tell you straight to your face. And I love it. I think my entire team loves it.
Hey, go back to the military stuff. We were talking about this the other day. That is another thing that is amazing about the military. It is extremely direct.
Yes.
There is no beating around the bush or second guessing. Like, people tell you exactly what they want you to tell. Glynn, go change this tire. It is not, Glynn, it would be nice if you went and got some tools and maybe a jack. Glynn, go change the damn tire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the best thing, the directness, I mean, nothing is left to interpretation at that point.
Yeah.
And the fact that you guys, even in your software, that's what it is. It's directness. It is implementing this thing, and it is showing you the results of your labor force and how it can better optimize your operations, I mean, and hopefully make you more money. Like, that's the goal with all this stuff, right? Like,
Sure.
Technology, that's it. That is really the ultimate goal. How can we get more money out of this company and be able to put more back into it? So, man, that's I love this.
Wow.
Man.
It is. I love this industry. I love it. Just like I said, when I somehow stumbled into building companies early in life, like it would be difficult to go back to the world I knew in technology after working in supply chain. I appreciate the relationships. I appreciate the direct nature of the relationships that we have. This is a relationship based business. You all said it at the outset here. Everybody talks to everybody here. Direct competitors will tell each other whether they like you or not. They will share notes. You're going to bump into people. Don't cross anybody. Don't ever have your integrity called into question. It will follow you around in this industry, and that's a good thing, I think.
You are not lying. For as big as logistics is, it is a small world.
Absolutely.
It truly is. Word gets around very easily. And especially because most people are on social media as well, like LinkedIn and stuff, so like you're out there, you're putting yourself out there, word gets around, people see you, people understand, and what you put out there better be factual, it better be true, and it better hold water, what I mean? So
that's right. Otherwise we're going to have a discussion. It's going to be a short discussion.
Very, very true. I don't know. John's over here talking all this rigmarole.
No, that's fine. I already wrote John's name down. I'll be hitting John up after this and be more than happy.
We'll go back to what he said. He said, definitely curious what you have for picking, packing, pallet, put away, and reserves. So John works for a beer distributor up in the Northeast. You know, he
I'm in.
drives, he does warehouse stuff. He does a bunch of things. He is a very talented individual within the logistics space. So I definitely got to connect to him. He's a really, really good friend. But that was that question. And then yeah, what he said here, the so you have stuff that actually tracks things like LUM picking. I don't know what that is. I'm not a warehouse guy, but
Yeah, no. And to be perfectly honest, he'll have to tell me what LUM picking is. But let's talk about. I mean, effectively, what we're doing is, John and the rest of the, anyone that's listening, we are taking information from your warehouse management system or systems. We've got customers that have 8 different WMSs. We're taking information from your time cards. If you have automation, we're taking that information, and then we are making it very easy to turn that into everything from, I can look at Rob's day, right? If I'm a people manager, I want to see my team of 8 people. And don't give me a bunch of spreadsheets. We actually have a manager screen. Managers log in. They can see exactly how their team is performing today, how they performed last month, how they performed over the last year. But you can see them as, how they relate to each other. I can see how my team is doing overall. But all of that is based on what we do is effectively automatically allocate time and productivity to different departments within the organization. People don't have to cross clock and say, well, I'm going from picking to packing or anything like that. We use a system that's, if you use Gmail, it's a lot like tagging your emails in Gmail. We take that data and we say, which things do we need to pay attention to determine that this is a shoe pick, this is a beauty pack, and what is the expectation? Shoes picking, I might expect 80 an hour. Beauty packing, I might expect 120 an hour. We're just a platform that is taking all that data in and then allocating it to the right departments. But at all levels, it starts with, how is this employee doing? How is their team doing? How is this manager doing? Rolling up to a department or an activity, rolling up to a facility, and ultimately rolling up to a network view. Very different hats that I just described on who's using the platform, from people leaders all the way up to chief supply chain officers. But yeah, John, I would be more than happy to follow up and tell you a little bit about what we do. It doesn't hurt that you're in the alcoholic beverage distribution business. I personally have a propensity for working with alcohol distributors. So I'd be happy to follow up.
I'm pretty sure that you will have the connection request in your LinkedIn box now. No. John is a great guy. He really is.
Fantastic.
He's absolutely love him. He has amazing input, and he's done a lot of things in this industry. Definitely got to connect with him. He definitely be one of those guys on the ground and stuff. And I just want to say, I mean, for Mr. I'm not here to sell, I think I'm at like number 5 on the sales pitches here with you, Glynn. I'm joking, man. Dude, it's passion, man. I love that. You get some people that, they talk about what they do, what their company is, so forth and so on. But you're just talking from a passion standpoint. Like, you can tell, like, you kind of just go into it, and you can see that you get lost in what you're saying because you believe every word because it's true, and there's passion behind it, and you really have an affinity for trying to help people and organizations and the industry. You know what I'm saying? Because this stuff, I mean, I told you, and I said this at the beginning of the show, the thing that I love most about the warehouse stuff, even though I'm not been involved in it much in my career, and we haven't had a lot of guests on it, which we're trying to change, but it is the fact that, man, differences can be made within the walls of a shipper and receiver between docks. I mean, it really, really can. The difference in a customer getting their freight 8 hours early or a day early just because a place has an operational efficiency that allows them to get trucks in and out and move freight and keep inventory circulating properly and people working at their fullest potential, so, and again, it's also like that you're people focused, Glynn. We talked about automation and stuff, and I said this kind of a minute ago, but the fact that y'all were still focusing on the human part of it, y'all integrate with the robotics and all the other stuff, but y'all's people part of it is the greatest thing. You know, like you see the value in how the human being, the individual is still what makes the company move forward, what makes it tick, adds value, makes a company profitable, or vice versa, right?
Yeah. No, it's 100%. I love it. I appreciate the time today. I mean, I will tell you, going all the way back to what gets you into the business of starting companies. I will tell you that uh, this being my third company, there's no way to build something if you're in it for, hey, let's build this up. Let's figure out how to pump and dump this thing. If you are not passionate about what you're actually building on a daily basis, it just I've never found that work. And so goes back to the earliest conversations amongst myself and my co-founders. Is this something that after we came out of that distribution center in West Virginia, is this something that you're going to wake up every day motivated to go fix and be thinking about how do we make this better? And that's honestly what leads us. I hope it doesn't sound too cheesy. I dropped, because I'm not in the comments section, in the private chat, I dropped in our X or Twitter account, as well as our YouTube page. For anyone that actually wants to see, what we actually do, or see some shorts or things like that, you can find a ton of information on our YouTube page as well. So I don't know if Hunter or Rob, if you can drop those over into comments for me. I'm just not I'm not able to drop it over in the comments.
No worries. Yes, we will. When we get off here, Master Dispatcher will go and drop their X for everyone. It is we are Takt. We are TAKT. That is their X handle. So you can go find them on there. But we'll drop all that in the comments, as well as the YouTube that you posted. So Hunter, before we wind this thing down here and let Glynn say his final thing, do you have anything you want to add, man?
Nah, man, this has been one of those episodes, dude, just over here learning. But I think it is cool, and like I'm what Rob was saying, man, like just like how you really do focus on the people first. Like I think that's super important. I think that's obviously like a testament to why y'all are having such success today. So I'm here for it, and definitely gonna try to make it to one of those robot conventions, man. I don't know if I'll be able to make Chicago, but
I'm gonna send you the information. Come join us, and if you're coming, I'll invite you to the happy hour we're sponsoring. We do some of our best work there. So listen, I appreciate this. It's really been great. I appreciate what you all do, and certainly appreciate the opportunity to be on here. For those of you that are listening, I'll make sure our X account or our Twitter account, not nearly as exciting as the YouTube page, where you can actually see very specific, as long or as short a format as you want, exactly what we do. Please feel free to reach out to me anytime. My name is Glynn LoPresti. Hit me on LinkedIn. My email is Glynn, spelled GLYNN, @takt.io. This has been fantastic. I really appreciate it. By the way, we're not done here. I mean, we're going to continue to finding ways to work together here. You guys are great, and I appreciate it, Rob and Hunter.
Yeah, man. Best part too, you're now an official lounge lizard, so you can come back anytime.
Perfect. I love it. There
you go.
Appreciate it. Thanks for everyone.
We appreciate this, and we also have to give a shout out to Nathan Cheney, Chris Pride, Supply Chain Social Club, Late Night Freight. That's where we met Glynn. Here is our new partnership events that we're doing with the Supply Chain Social Club. That's how we got introduced to this individual, and we just hit it off. And Hunter was like, man, we got to have this guy in.
Oh, don't thank me, man. Thank Father Freight for that one.
Dude, is that how far that goes back? Is it Halloween?
Yeah.
Holy shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. I thought this was like a recent development deal with Glynn. I mean, I'm only a recent connection with him, so holy crap, that is nuts. Father Freight is going to go down in logistics infamy. You just wait. I'm telling you, people are going to, like, in 10 years from now, you're just going to see random murals of Father Freight on the side of warehouse buildings.
Hey, I'm here for it. I'm in.
Awesome. All right. Before we do a final sponsor break, and then we talk about what we've got lined up next week, Glynn, do you have any final comments, questions, concerns, updates, or do you want to give some plugs again.
No, honestly, no, I appreciate the time. If there's anyone that if we can help anyone that's listening, and or anybody that we should be talking to, I would welcome the introductions. Please reach out to us at takt.io. My Glynn, Glynn at takt.io. No, otherwise, I'm just happy to be here with you all. Looking forward to continuing this type of shenanigans in the future and supporting the growth of the Logistics Lounge.
Lovely, man. We love it. Stick with us, Glynn. Even after we end the show, man, we're going to hang out backstage for a minute. We always like to try to do some post show follow up and get feedback from you as well. We're going to get these final sponsor breaks out real quick, and then we will come back. Hunter and I will give our final comments, and we will let all you lovely ladies and germs go about your weekend. So, Freight Ninja. Got to come see us at Matt's. We're going to be there. March 27th through the 29th in Louisville, Kentucky. You got to come hang out with us at the Freight Ninja booth. We're in the South Wing. Truck parking's a major issue. We all know it. There are plenty of companies out there trying to solve it, but Freight Ninja does things differently. They own and they manage these properties themselves. So truck parking done differently, whether you got one truck, two truck, a fleet of trailers, whatever it may be. Hit them up. Website scrolling across the bottom of the screen along with the phone number. Make sure y'all use that code to save yourself a little bit of dollarinos too. And let me not forget, at the booth, it's not just going to be Mr. Hunter and I, Mr. Nate Johnson and Robert Bain, aka the strongest man in logistics, will also be hanging out with us. They come from GLCS. Y'all know them, you love them, so make sure you come hang out with us, man. We are going to have an incredible booth at the Mid-America Trunk Show. It is going to be an absolute blast. You better be there or be circle. It's I always say that's my favorite thing, man. Trailer Century, hey, newest sponsor here. We've talked about him a lot, and we're gonna have Jeff Clark come back on the show here soon, and he's gonna tell y'all everything that goes into this device. But it is more than just preventing freight theft and by locking your trailers and all that stuff. I mean, this thing can keep track of all kinds of things, help with hours of service compliance. It helps with routing. I mean, you can track your maintenance schedules, all kinds of stuff. Make sure y'all go to the website scrolling across the bottom of your screen, call the phone number, send the email to the email there, and ask for some more information. Mr. Hound, what you got for us, broski?
Oh, not much, man. Glynn, we're definitely gonna have to talk. Didn't even connect 2 and 2, but you know who else works in the alcoholic beverage industry? Your boy. So
oh shit, okay.
Yeah, dude, distributors, importers, all that good jazz. So we'll have to cut out some time next week and see what we can do.
I appreciate it. Hey, man, that was great. Hopefully I feel bad if I did too much selling there, but it's exciting, man. I'll be honest with you. It was less about, for me, there's something really strange about coming into supply chain from the outside world, man. Again, and we're not live anymore, are we? Are we still live?
Yeah.
Oh, we're still live, brother. We are still live.
Oh, I was going to say, that part of the conversation is absolutely a life experience right, to come into this space from technology and see what the difference is in this industry. And we've just developed some really phenomenal relationships there. It is a relationship based business, and I love I just can't imagine going anywhere else. So.
Oh, dude, and that's one thing, Glenn. I'll say that's why I wanted you to come on the show so bad, is because like you led with that. It's like I don't come from this, but I am wildly interested in it, And most folks, they'll just fake it till they make it, and it always comes out, like it's just bad intentions, but
yeah,
you got a good thing going on over there, man.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. We don't plan on going anywhere. Things are going well right now, and yeah, we're as long as we can keep things have been going so well for us right now that it's sort of switched from can we grow as a company to can we grow as a company and continue to onboard customers without changing any of that's gotten us where we are, right? That's the scariest part for a company at our size, which is, all right, things are blowing up now, but what got you here was never losing a customer, right? Developing those relationships, exceeding expectations, and like, are you going to be able to do that as you expand as a company? We just put an offer out to another individual today, and we're a relatively small company. It's part of a startup. If anybody wants to have a conversation around startup life, that's a totally different show. But man, that's a whole thing in and of itself. You all are going through it right now as well. I mean, that's why I love helping out and sponsoring and supporting people that are doing new things. I mean, I think there's just no match for it as far as I'm concerned.
That actually, Glenn, that would be a wonderful show to have, man.
Yeah,
dude, Hunter, we should do like a startup. I don't want to say round table. That's not the first, but like a startup show. Get like people like
just a discussion.
And some other folks that we know, man.
Oh yeah, let's get our guys from 2 Boxes in here. Remember, I told you they're the ones that it's officially out now. I told you about the shit people return. It's the funniest thing in the world. God, that's the crew over at 2 Boxes. They are fantastic, and they're another. I mean, they've raised some capital, so they probably have a little bit more cash in the bank than we do. But just a phenomenal group of people building an incredible business around returns.
Glenn. You gotta hook us up with them.
Okay,
we need to have them on the show, bro. That would be awesome.
Absolutely,
yeah, that would be so
absolutely.
Cool.
I know Kyle would love it. He just had a kid, so he may not have as much alcohol. Well, maybe he needs it more than I do. But
that's true. Maybe he does need it more. I know that's right, bro. Whoo-wee. One of my favorite sayings is from the great man Robin Leach, and that is, you can't trust people who don't drink. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Everyone's on their own mission. I would just never forget that. If you don't know who Robin Leach is, you're not old like Glenn and I. That's exactly what that is. Yep. All right. Hunter, did I ask you if you had anything?
Yeah.
Did I? Okay. All right. Cool. Sorry, bro. Sorry. Damn, Glenn, getting me all sidetracked here. Man. No. All right. Next week. This is a show that has been in the making literally since the beginning. I mean, from the infancy before the lounge, we have been hooked up with this guy, and he's absolutely amazing. We finally met him in person at Broker Carrier Summit. Hunter and I both have a standing ice fishing reservation with him whenever we can get up there to deal with it. But next week we have Robert Nichols in the lounge. This guy, I would say his entire, but this guy's in the LTL reefer space, just like our good friend Mr. Hound here. Robert has been killing it for decades and is just an incredible individual. He's got some knowledge he's going to drop on us. We're going to dig deep into the reefer space, and especially, like I said, the LTL part of that. Get more into the niche type stuff there. So that'll be great. And then next Friday, we have our buddy Garrett with Load Partner coming and hanging out with us in the lounge. If y'all don't know Garrett and Load Partner, I mean, this kid, well, I say this kid, he's 31, but he looks like he's 18. I swear to God, when he comes on the show, y'all will all see what we mean. Hunter, you know what I'm talking about. This dude looks like he's in high school still. But he literally hosts live shows and builds a TMS live online. Absolutely amazing, intelligent young man. We're going to bring on a show. He's going to talk about this TMS that they're building, all the things that he has been involved with throughout his career in the tech background. He's one of these type of people that if it wasn't for him, a lot of these company load boards and other things may not be around. So be really great show. With that, we're going to end it. Glynn, please stick with us so we can chop it up backstage. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Thank you for joining us on this show-packed week. We had one Tuesday, we had one Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, almost every single day this week. Hunter and I have been on the show, and we are ready to kick back, relax, and man, dude, I haven't said that in a long time, Hunter. Sit back, relax, pop a top, and enjoy the. I haven't said that in forever. We're ready to kick back, relax, and enjoy the non-lounge. How about that? As I always say, chunk them deuces, baby. Mr. Hound, roll that beautiful bean footage.
The views and opinions expressed on this show by its guests are not necessarily those of Lounge Media Group or the show host. So if you sue someone, make sure it's the party responsible for hurting your feelings. Also, grow up, be an adult, and understand not everyone thinks like you. And that's okay.